my name's Andy Serkis.
And this is Gollum. And this is Smeagol.
And welcome to the cast commentary for The Return of the King.
That's the third movie in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Kind of an interesting thing to let people know is that the first time that we see the extended cut is
now. To this moment, you're watching with us. Well, I'm looking forward to doing a little stream of consciousness sharing with the hundreds of millions of Lord of the Rings fans who go out and get these DVDs. So you want to dig in?
Let's do it.
This is the opening shot to Return of the King, and as you can see, involves a worm. The most difficult thing about this shot was getting the worm on the hook, because as you can see, when it comes into shot, it's an enormous hook and a very small worm, but no worms were killed or maimed during the making of that shot. Now then, Thomas Robbins, who played Deagol, and myself, who plays Smeagol, shot this scene in Fernside, north of Wellington. What this scene was really trying to achieve was a sense of taking you back to the Shire, taking you back to a golden time before the ring ruins all of these people's lives.
Smeagol!
Smeagol here is enjoying Deagol's inability to fish. He quite likes seeing other people having a bad time with things, but he's not malicious. It was very important for me to establish him as a hobbit, as someone who was capable of being normal before this tragedy happens to him.
Smeagol really enjoyed seeing his cousin fall into the water. Yes, but I was coming soon. Precious, wasn't I? Yes, you were, but not yet.
Tell you what, that's a strong fish to pull that hobbit under the water and drag him for a bit.
Yeah.
He's just had a big bite of a donut, hasn't he?
What's that, though?
Don't know. What is that? Is that his keys? Did he lose his keys?
And I think this scene was filmed, was it not, Dom? To be in the Two Towers.
I agree with you there, Billy.
The sequence was originally meant to be in the Two Towers in the Dead Marshes when Frodo says, "You used to be a hobbit once. You used to be called Smeagol," and then he remembers his name for the first time. But Peter and Fran thought very cleverly, hold back from delivering the origins of the character, allow the audience to live with that character and the mystery of the character over a year before the release of the next film, and keep it like a psychological thriller. Placing it at the beginning of the third film, it really does take you back to life before the ring, and so for the arc of the third film, it works terrifically well. This was the most difficult part of the scene, is knowing exactly how to play, and we played it in a whole spectrum of ways, knowing exactly how to play the moment of seeing the ring and becoming addicted to it immediately. As Tolkien writes, the ring affects you according to your moral stature, so we had to make that very apparent, but at the same time, not melodramatic, and it had to be real. So the whole idea of the two characters, it could have gone either way. The whole idea that, it was affecting Deagol as well, gives power to the ring and actually makes it less one-sided. It could happen to any of us.
It's good we get to see Andy Serkis, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think like most of the audience know, he did do so much work to play Gollum, but was obviously not seen in his fine male form.
And now we do see him.
Now we see him.
I remember sitting and watching the movie for the first time and sitting between my wife and Andy Serkis, and when this came on, he was just beaming. And I just felt like this man who at that point had existed for years with these movies, as the movies became successful, people still didn't understand, still didn't realize how much time and energy he put into creating the character of Gollum.
One thing about Andy as well, he's one of these actors that goes for it 100%, so I wouldn't really like to be Deagol.
Yeah, he probably is trying to kill this guy.
Yeah, he probably did kill him, actually.
Yeah.
Thomas's neck was red raw by the end of shooting. He really had to put up with quite a lot.
Oh, this is an extra bit here. This is more choking to show that he really did choke him.
Yeah, that he's really being choked.
I think this is the purest example of what the ring can do, because you see him as this innocent hobbit. You see what it does to him upon seeing it, and ultimately how it physically changes him as well.
Fran Walsh, who was directing this sequence, got very ill, and I got a call from Peter about 6 o'clock in the morning, and he asked me if I'd direct some of the sequence. So I talked to Thomas about it, and we worked out this relationship between us. And then I'd run with the shots once we'd come up with some stuff, and we'd run across with a clamshell, which is a little video TV monitor, and I'd take that and show Pete, and then come back and we'd shoot some more.
Precious.
We played this shot in a myriad of different ways to try and really nail the truest response to that moment of ecstasy. And then, of course, it's like the fall from grace. This series of vignettes, we wanted to create an image of the descent into madness. the obsession, the addiction growing, and that shot of being hunched over by the tree. It's almost like he's suffering from heroin addiction. He's really becoming absorbed by the drug. Saying the name for the first time, finding that convulsion, finding that inability to stop this way of talking coming out of his mouth. You know, he's called Gollum because of the way he sounds, so this really shows that.
It's good this part for Andy because he was able to use his real teeth and his real nails for this. He does actually have grotesque teeth. Most Englishmen do. Scotsmen, on the other hand, have textbook teeth.
Yeah, we use them for biting haggis. And also for helping to chew the ends off our kilts.
That moment where he's glaring round was him becoming more paranoid of people watching him. And this is the last that he ever sees of sunlight, the last time he looks up and sees the yellow face, the sunshine, before he disappears into the misty mountains.
This looks like kind of a full-body prosthetic.
Yeah.
Which would be a nightmare. A lot of work.
The prosthetics for this particular shot, we started off at 3:30 in the morning, I think I was on set. Just there, you'll see the final moment of prosthetic makeup before it becomes digital Gollum.
It's amazing how much Gollum ended up looking like Andy.
Hence, the complete redesign of the face, because, of course, we shot a lot of that in principal photography, and Gollum hadn't been fully facially designed at that point. So it was going backwards and sort of saying, well, that's how Andy's face looks. Let's build Gollum's face to fit that. So all the facial structure from then on was redesigned. So that's why you'll see a qualitative difference from Fellowship into Two Towers.